faces. Hey, Shanita. Hey, Leanne.
Hey.
And looks like we have Rep Crockett with us as well. Hello,
Yes, I'm
everyone.
here, but I'm driving.
Hey, Rep Crockett. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. If you're joining us here on Zoom or if you're joining us on Facebook Live, we are super excited for this month's general meeting. We have a lot of great updates to debrief from our primary elections. We have a lot of great news and a lot of great learnings that we're ready to share. And we're going to be joined by two amazing guest speakers, Rep. Jasmine Crockett, who is candidate running for Texas Congressional District 30, and an amazing activist and organizer and dear friend of mine, Pamela Young with United Fort Worth. So we're going to go ahead and get things kicked off. Feel free to put in the chat your name, pronouns, city that you're from, and what made you join today. Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and get kicked off, and I'm going to pass it to Kevin.
Awesome. Thanks, Carla. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We have an awesome meeting planned, and we're just getting started. And so there's going to be some people trickling in. But as we go down our agenda for today, we're going to be explaining the principles. Carla will be going through that. We'll be giving a chapter report, a debrief on what just happened in the runoff elections across North Texas. We're going to have two awesome guest speakers that Carla was just saying, Rep. Crockett running for Texas CD30 and Pamela Young with United Fort Worth. We're going to talk about some upcoming events right here in Dallas. We're going to be explaining about the upcoming convention. I'm not sure if y'all heard about it, but we have to know about it. It's important if we want to change the Democratic Party to continue to be in a more progressive future. And then we're going to be talking about ways to volunteer, stay up to date in our Slack, and much, much more. And so also don't feel free to stay to the end. We're going to have breakout rooms, so there's going to be time to talk, etc. So thank y'all so much for joining, and I'll pass it back to Carla.
Thank you, Kevin. So we have a lot of great folks on the call tonight. Just want to go over a few principles that we have. We go over these every single time. Y'all make sure that we have a productive meeting. As Kevin mentioned, at the end of the meeting, we go into breakout rooms and have a lot of discussions. We just want to make sure, one, you're respectful of everyone in the meeting. Treat everyone the way you would like to be treated. Do not attack anyone who's contributing. Even if there's a disagreement, we all have our own opinions, and we should feel as though we're in a safe space to share those and learn and grow. Also, please don't spam the chat with any non-endorsed candidates on Facebook Live or in the Zoom meeting. We have a lot of folks in here who have been working really hard to support on some amazing candidates, and we want to make sure that we don't spam the chat with non-endorsed candidates. And then also finally, when we organize, we win. So just to keep growing and maintain a productive meeting, maintain our growth, and just seeing all the progress that we make, we want to make sure that this meeting goes well. If you have questions at any time, feel free to throw those in the chat or drop it in the comments. And yeah, we're all going to move forward together. So I'm going to pass it back to Kevin.
Awesome. Thanks, Carla. For our next slide, well, thank you all so much for everyone who came out this primary election cycle. We had some huge wins, but also we want to think back for all the volunteers, all the events, everything that went down with the many weeks of block walking and so much more. We came out, we showed force, especially you'll see in our next slide, but with Rep. Crockett. But overall, we have to come out one more time for these upcoming elections. But overall, still, thank y'all so much for all the volunteers, the phone calls, the block walks, everything that were made. It's so important to keep doing this to especially help elect these awesome candidates into office. And so for our chapter report, we wanted to say shout out to Rep. Crockett for making the runoff. We are Rep. Crockett received over 48% of the vote on election day and is going into the runoff in first place. And so first, shout out to Rep. Crockett. And now we're actually going to introduce Rep. Crockett. She is here on the call right now. Hey, Rep. Crockett, are you there?
I am.
Awesome.
Sorry about
awesome.
that, Kevin.
No worries.
First of all, let me just start by saying thank you, Our Revolution. I mean, this was a tough thing to do. Number one, you guys dug in. You had, oh my gosh, you had days of endorsement screenings. You endorsed all over the ballot. It was a huge undertaking, but that did not scare y'all in the least bit. And y'all made sure that you put your name only on those candidates that you truly believe would carry this message of a more progressive Texas forward. And so I'm really proud of y'all. After y'all went through all that work, y'all decided to get out in the streets, because we know that that's where the change happens. It happens when we meet people where they are, and y'all did that. And the results don't necessarily reflect all the work that you did. So I just want to personally say thank you so much. This result was a little different than the one we had last time. And this is how we know that what you're doing really makes a difference. When you guys supported me before, or actually in my first round of my election, I came in second. And so that's one reason that I want to stress to everyone that you've got to show back up. You can't take anything for granted. I was the person that came in second, but we kept plowing away at it. And so we were able to overtake our opponent last time in a runoff. And we don't want that to happen to us in our runoff. Obviously, we have a pretty decent, comfortable lead over our opponent, a little over 30 points over our opponent. But you got to make sure people come back out. And so I do want to encourage those candidates that for whatever reason may not have made it. I don't want them to give up, because it takes a lot just to say that you're even going to put your name on the ballot. And so, think about the lessons that you've learned. Think about the things that you think you could do better, and get back out there. Keep fighting. Stay in the fight. We need you. We need people on every single level of government that are truly going to put the people first. And so while we were in second place 2 years ago when we were running for the state house, we overwhelmingly had the support of District 30. We won Tarrant County by almost 60%, which was a real big shocker to me. And Dallas County, we got about 48%. And so we came in somewhere around 49%, and we were only 800 votes shy of clearing a field of 9. And that just speaks volumes about your organization, the work that you do, the work that we're all doing together to make sure we push forward with the policies that make best for the people. So thank you again. I don't know if I can really say thank you enough, but I'm so happy to still have you on this journey with me. And the last thing that I'll add before I let y'all pass it over to my very good friend, Pam. And I say my very good friend because before I ever ran for office, Pam and I were out in the streets together, marching on civil rights cases way before George Floyd. And so she's doing excellent work, and I'm sure you guys will truly be blessed to kind of hear from her. But I do want to say, as my final note for the evening, that I am so excited that Senator Bernie Sanders, who endorsed me for the State House, decided to endorse me again for our congressional run just today. So huge news. So we've got Senator Warren behind us. We've got Senator Bernie Sanders. And of course, we have the outgoing Congresswoman Eddie Bernice behind us. There is no one in this race, no one that was in this race that really does have the confidence of those that are already currently serving in DC like I do. So let's just make sure that we get our message across to the people. Let's get them back out on May 24th, and let's win this thing. Let's make history. So thanks again. I love you guys so much, and I'm gonna drive carefully now, but I am going to continue to listen.
Awesome. Thank y'all. Thank you so much, Rep. Crockett, for joining. Again, congratulations for the Bernie endorsement. We have the full progressive slate with organizations. We have endorsements, everything to keep the movement going and win on the May 24th election. And we are excited to continue the work right here in Dallas. And Rep. Crockett, you may be surprised on the Tarrant side, but we weren't. We were from the voices that we heard with helping with Deborah Peoples and the other candidates right in Grand Prairie. They were all excited for you, Rep. Crockett. So we are excited to get them out one more time in the May 24th election. And so Thank you so much. And I'll be for our next chapter report, we want to let y'all know onto the general. Thank y'all so much for all the support, especially for helping get our other candidates onto the general election. And so we have in Tarrant County, as we just mentioned previously, Deborah Peoples, as you see on the bottom left, Ana Maria Ramos, Grayson Lisinski, who's in a primary as well for the Texas State House, who came up a win with over 51%. Alex Cornwallis running for State Board of Education, Prince, then Rep Mesa, the Honorable Kenneth Sanders, the Honorable Chris Lopez, and then Erica Ledford and Rockwall. I'm going to pass it to Carla for our next slide.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin. And thank you, Rep Crockett, again. And congrats on getting Bernie's endorsement today. So exciting. And we just want to give a big shout out to our other candidates that we had endorsed who we just worked so hard to rally around and to support. And we know that not every campaign makes it, but we have to continue moving forward. Just as Rep Crockett said, so many of them missed the runoff just by a small percentage. And we hope to see them again next time. I want to give a shout out to Frederick Nickens, Amy Thompson-Hollins, who I know is on the call tonight, Juan Renteria, Alyssa Webb, Albert Roberts, Chris Leal, Uduak Nakange, and Lorenzo Sanchez. Y'all are amazing progressives, and we wish to see you guys make it. And we know that we'll see you back again next time to finish the job. We are going to go ahead now and give another big update on our endorsement process. So we know we are getting right back to work, and the runoff and May elections are coming up fast. So just share with your friends and supporters out there who may have a candidate in mind who'd be interested in filling out an application for an endorsement process. We'll be making an official announcement next week, but this has been reopened now for the runoff and May elections. And with that, getting through all these updates, we are going to go ahead and jump right into it and introducing a really great friend and organizer, Pamela Young with United Fort Worth. Pam, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, so glad to be here. Thank you.
Hey, Pam, I'm so excited for you to be on the call with us today. I know that you have been doing so much work with United Fort Worth and just building a better community here for us in Fort Worth. One of the things that we wanted to chat about tonight, in particular, that's been kind of on the forefront of some of our minds, has been redistricting and city councils in Fort Worth. So you guys invested a lot last cycle. And I just wanted to ask you, so what are your thoughts on the current climate in Fort Worth and the redistricting that's happening right now?
Yeah, we did invest quite a bit, United Fort Worth, and our community in making sure that we had a brand new city council here in 2022. And we have a brand new city council with council member Chris Nettles in District 8 and council member Dr. Jared Williams in District 6. And one of the things that we made sure that our candidates were going to support was independent redistricting. And unfortunately, and this is where the word accountability comes in, right? Is when after the election is over and the candidate takes office, that's when the real work starts. And that's when it's time to hold the people that we have elected, that we have worked to get into these seats to represent the people, to hold them accountable. And so that's what we're in the midst of right now. The city of Fort Worth, like most cities right now, are going through redistricting. The community overwhelmingly here in Fort Worth is still pushing for an independent redistricting committee. And so that did not happen in Fort Worth. What happened was we ended up getting a task force that was not charged with independently drawing the districts for city council, but they were tasked with creating criteria so that the city council could redraw their own districts, which of course is what we don't want, right? We don't want elected officials drawing their own districts and deciding who their voters are going to be. But we want it the other way around. Voters should be deciding who their council persons are going to be, and also deciding what their districts look like, because they live there. They know what communities need to stay together. They know how their communities work best. And so that's what we've been fighting for. And we didn't get that this time, but we're not finished fighting. We're going to continue fighting. One of the things that stopped us from getting an independent redistricting committee this time around was our city charter. Our city charter states that the city council has the final say in what new maps would look like. And so that could be changed with an amendment to the city charter. But our city council, again, is so important for everyone to not only vote, but to be educated voters and to make sure that everyone is voting. Our city council, our brand new city council, decided that they weren't going to push for a charter amendment to form an IRC. Now that IRC wouldn't have helped this current process, but it can help in the next redistricting process. And so there is a charter amendment, Fort Worthians, if you did not know, coming up on the May ballot. I believe that's May 7th, right? Coming up on that May ballot, there will be amendments to the city charter that you can vote on. And so our city council decided not to push through an independent redistricting committee amendment, but they did push through a pay raise amendment to the city charter, which, is great, because we do need more diversity on the city council, and pay raises are going to help facilitate that. But we also need independent redistricting for 10 years down the road when the census comes back around. We don't want to be in the same position that we're in now, where city council members are willing and dealing and drawing their own maps, not giving ample opportunity, right, to the community to weigh in, unencumbered by any kind of political motives. And that's a huge opportunity that the city of Fort Worth missed. But that's an even bigger opportunity and lesson for all of us, constituents, community members, to stay engaged and to make sure that your voice is heard, that you are standing with us, fighting for independent redistricting. And it's not too late. We can still demand that even now.
Absolutely. And thank you, Pam. You touched on a lot of great points, so that is opportunity still for us to try and tackle this. And we'll definitely do what we can to make sure we continue to bring light to that, because, it's essentially what we saw with our state being cut up, sliced and diced every which way. Cities have the ability to do that too. And you're right, they want to pick and choose their voters to make sure that they get reelected. And when that that really shouldn't be the case. You know, I was looking at one of the maps that was drawn up and just seeing how just like it's like a jigsaw puzzle with the different districts all surrounding different parts of Fort Worth, and you know, dipping into different communities and demographics, and where you see just these splits in in communities where one side may be largely affluent, and then the other side is not. And then you have someone who is representing that community, and they're just going to like this leads to some of the unanswered questions and issues like gentrification. And would you mind sharing a couple of those issues that you feel like really have gone unanswered, and something like independent redistricting committee or commission could help prevent or just mitigate like in the future?
Yeah, there's so many issues that this issue of redistricting and just of making sure that you're electing people who are really going to represent you affects. So when we first started organizing United Fort Worth, one of the things that we were organizing around was Senate Bill 4, which some of you may have heard of, which is the racist Show Me Your Papers bill that the Texas legislature passed in 2017. And so United Fort Worth started organizing because we saw that every other major city in the state of Texas had signed on to a lawsuit against this racist bill, and the city, except for the city of Fort Worth. And so that's when we started organizing to get that city council to join that lawsuit and take a stand and say, no, this is racist and it's going to hurt our community. But our city council didn't budge. And, you know, SB 4, not only is that running rampant in our community, but also 287G, which is a collaboration with the sheriff's department and ICE, you know, a federal agency, and it shouldn't be here. And so these are just a few of the issues. Also, as Jasmine Crockett, Representative Crockett, mentioned, one of the issues is police brutality. That's where I met Representative Crockett, as a matter of fact, marching, protesting against the injustice that was done against Jacqueline Craig, a Fort Worth woman, mother, who was assaulted, her and her children, by Fort Worth officer William Martin. And we petitioned and rallied and made demands of city council members to fire Officer Aaron Dean, to make sure that he was held accountable, and that never happened. So these are the decisions, these are the life-altering implications of voting, of, you know, making sure that you're engaged in the process and that you have people representing you that you believe in and who are going to be held accountable, and also that you're holding them accountable, right? Even if you don't believe in them, even if you do, our job is to always hold them accountable, to always speak up, push back, and make sure that the voice of the people is heard.
Absolutely. And that leads me into my next and final question. You know, we need to continue to be that annoying little bug in their ear, trying to say, hey,
Yes.
do something. Again,
Yes.
even if we didn't vote for them, I know a lot of people did not want to see the current mayor of Fort Worth elected.
Right.
But, you know, we still need to find a way to hold them accountable and make them listen. So I just wanted to ask you, Pam, if you want to share with us some of the ways our revolution, our members and volunteers, how we can help plug in and support like the work that's being done in United Fort Worth, and also just, you know, how we can continue to like move the needle on these things.
Yeah, I would say in general for everyone, it's really simple to get started. And that's no matter what city you live in. Um, find out when your city council meetings are. That is, I always tell people that's the best place to start. That's one of the best places to start, is find out when your city council meetings are and start watching them online or going in person if that's your thing, and find out what's going on. Find out how the sausage is made, find out who's making decisions about what. And then, begin to figure out where you fit in, what issues are important to you. And start to make your voice heard. That's how I got started. Again, I had never been to a city council meeting before 2017, when Jacqueline Craig was accosted, harassed, assaulted by Fort Worth police officers. That was my first time going, but it was something that was near and dear to my heart. And that's where I showed up. And that's how I got plugged in. And that's how I met all of you amazing friends I have now. And so, yeah, I would say that. Definitely follow United Fort Worth. We'll always be sharing information about how you can get involved with local actions and movement work, and just, relationship building and community. But we're at United Fort Worth. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We also have a Linktree /United Fort Worth. So you can stay up to date with that. And just FYI, speaking of redistricting, on March 22nd, which is a Tuesday, which is a regular city council night, there will be a public hearing. It may be the final public hearing, we don't know yet, for redistricting. So there's a proposed map that you can look at and see, if there are any amendments that you would like to make to that map, anything that you would like change. You can go to tinyurl.com/FW redistricting. And you can see the map that is on the table now. And if you have any comments that you want to make about that, you can do that at that website, and it'll go straight to the city. But I really admonish everyone in the city of Fort Worth to show up. You can watch online or come in person, but that is a really immediate way that you can make your voice heard in what happens over the next 10 years. And that tiny URL again is tinyurl.com/FW as in Fort Worth redistricting.
Thank you again, Pam, so much love to
You're
you
welcome.
and everyone at United Fort Worth for all the amazing work that y'all do. I just dropped that link in the chat, and thank you, Julio. Dropped it a second time, y'all. So all Fort Worth fam, make sure you click on it, make sure you check it out, and then we'll potentially see y'all all at the March 22nd City Council meeting. I'm gonna thank you so much again, Pam. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to Kevin now.
Awesome. Thanks, Carla. Thanks, Pam. For our next slide, we just want to let you know, again, as you might know about Bernie, like asking for the contribution, we're asking for you to join us and become a volunteer. Some of these races in these past election cycle came up very close, and with us growing our volunteer base, us continuing to show our force in North Texas can make the very much difference. Lorenzo Sanchez in Collin County lost by 29 votes. 29 votes. Every vote counts, y'all. 29 votes. In Dallas, Chris Leal lost by less than 400 votes. That is less than 400, and that shows that every vote counts. And these other races, especially the municipal cycle, come up even slower, keep up even lower. So y'all, we need your support. The time is now. to keep on going, to keep the movement going right here in North Texas. But we're showing with our volunteers, we're still winning, as y'all see. Shout out to Rep Crockett back at the call and many other wins across North Texas. So join us. You can join us through recruitment team, communications, fundraising, or if that's not anything you'd like to do, you can still join us with volunteering with our block walks. If you would like to phone bank, any way, we would love your support. If there's some way that you think you can join that's not listed, let us know. And we'd love to hear more. And so sign up. I dropped the link in the chat. Sign up to volunteer with us, and we hope to hear from you soon. And I'll pass it to Carla.
Thank you, Kevin. So we are going to discuss a couple of events that are coming up, y'all. This Friday at Dallas City Hall at 6 p.m., there will be an End the Pandemic rally for global vaccine justice. So Kevin, awesome. Thank you for posting the RSVP in the chat. I will be there speaking alongside many other folks and organizers in our coalition who are saying we need to free the vaccines. We need to make sure that everyone has the access to vaccinations and we can end the pandemic. So if you're interested in showing up with us, make sure that you RSVP so you can get the details, and we'll see y'all at City Hall on Friday. And I'm going to pass it back to Kevin.
Awesome. Thanks, Carla. And so I don't know if y'all heard, but the Texas Democratic Convention's coming up, coming sooner than y'all may have known. Your local county/Senate district convention is going to be taking place on Saturday, March 19th. So it's going to be important that you join. This is where we think of like the party platform. We think of like internal party works, and it's super duper duper important that you sign up because there's not that many. And if we get more progressive voices, we've seen Texas is one of the most progressive voices when it comes to the current party platform. They have Medicare for all. They have the Green New Deal. It may not be showing on these certain candidates running, but the current Texas Democratic Party platform has it. And so we need to continue reform from the inside, but also on the outside, what we're doing with candidates, but also continue the work inside. When we think of rules, when we think of resolutions, and we think of so much more, when we think of winning in November, it takes right here in the local party. And so we're going to be sharing the links. I'm going to share it in the chat, but join your local county one. And then later in July, it's going to be right here in Dallas. You don't even have to drive that far unless you're very far from Dallas. But if not, it's going to be from July 14th through the 16th in Dallas, Texas, right here locally for the state convention. You'll see many candidates. You can ask them questions, and you can, there's so much to do. And it will be a great time. And we're going to be, if you join as a volunteer, etc., we'll be giving more informational sessions to explain possibly running for a position in the Texas Democrat for your Senate district, etc. There's so much stuff that can be done from the inside in the Democratic Party through this convention. And so we'd love for you to join and reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. And I'll be passing it to Carla.
Thanks, Kevin. I just want to say, if you're a precinct chair, make sure that you get signed up, y'all. Make sure that you, again, as Kevin had mentioned, get plugged in so we can get some amazing progressive folks on some committees. In 2020, we literally had the most progressive state platform at convention. And it was because we had so many great people from Our Revolution, from DSA, from Sunrise Movement, and we all just went in and took over the party a little bit. So make sure that you get plugged in, follow those links that are in the chat, and we'll see y'all there. Also, another great way to stay plugged in just to our daily communications is in Slack. So if you have not joined our Slack, please make sure that you get signed up. We see a lot of information being shared in Slack all over DFW. That way, if there's anything here on the show tonight that you happen to not hear about, or if there's something that you're wanting to share, you can definitely post it there and we can share that next time, or we can help amplify that. So be sure to sign up and join our Slack. And then I am going to give everyone just another reminder for our next meeting. I know we're blowing through everything really quick, but we just want to make sure we have plenty of time for our breakout rooms. But our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, April 5th, same time, 6:30 p.m. CST. We'll likely have some really good news just with how events are going and just preparing for the runoffs and May elections. So make sure that you sign up to get a notification and a reminder and join us at that meeting. And all right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Kevin to wind us out.
Awesome, y'all. We are on to our breakout rooms, but for everyone in the live stream, thank y'all so much for joining. You can learn more about all the events that we're talking about and more on the link on our website, ourrevolutiontx.com/more-texas, and you can find it in the bios of all of our social media platforms. Thank y'all for joining whoever's on the live stream. And so the live stream stopped, but for everyone here, and we're gonna be talking with everyone here. So we're gonna have our breakout rooms. We're gonna explain our thoughts on the runoff elections, organizing in 2022. This could be the Democratic convention. This could be just the May elections coming up. So like the school board races, municipal elections, like there's so much about it to be taking place. And then there's also the past elections. Anything you'd like to debrief on, let us know. And so we're gonna be going into breakout rooms. We're gonna have around 4 per room. And yeah, so excited for y'all to join. And we're gonna have 3 rooms. So, and everyone should be going to a room now. Awesome. Hey everyone, welcome back to the main room. Shout out to everyone who is in the breakout rooms. Anyone would like to speak in, that was in room number 2, and that was Carla, Christy, Pam, Lisa, and Gabe, and I believe Leanne as well.
Yes, there's something I didn't get to say in my breakout room. So I want to just drop a little reminder or a little announcement that I'm spearheading for the Dallas Democratic Party. Bernie says, don't fight the party, be the party. So we are forming the Progressive Democrats Club of Dallas. And what that will do for us is not only help us with our OR recruiting, but it will give us full access to van countywide. And we're working on, I'm on the development team for a new GOTV app that is going to replace minivan, replace talk to van, do a lot of functions van won't do, and generally in version 2 or 3, tap dance. So we're very excited about it. And right now it's only Dallas County. For Fort Worth, I assume that when we have it up and running, we can replicate. So do not despair. And my ask is that you start thinking about what you hate in van, and you attend Sunday's session where we're going to talk in more detail. I put my contact information in the chat. If you can, if you have ideas now on what you hate about van and minivan and what you'd like to see in a new app for GOTV canvassing, just give me a holler, because I'm on the development team and we're, making a list of features and in what order we want to put them in. And Christy, I am hoping that you can find a little time for me, because I need help with my Google form to sign people up for Progressive Democrats. So we'll talk about it offline.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Leanne. That's awesome news. And especially if you have any things, takes on van, like let Leanne know. Leanne's doing awesome work as always. And I wanted to pass it to Pam. I saw you came off mute for a bit, and no worries if not, but yeah.
Yeah, no, we had a good discussion about some local city council initiatives that Our Revolution is going to be working on, healthcare for all resolutions, and heard the good news about the city of Dallas and Adam Bazaldua being a champion for that. So hopefully I was telling Carla, hopefully we can glean from that work and translate it over here in Fort Worth, because it's needed.
Awesome, awesome. I guess we'll move to the next room. Yeah. So room 3, we had Deborah, Gracie, Julio, Stewart. Julio or Stewart, y'all want to talk?
I mean, overall, just thank you to everyone for your work. Obviously, Kevin, Carla, Christy, like y'all have just been like above and beyond. And just thank you so much for your work. And everybody else, Pamela, Annie, Stuart, like everybody on this call, I'm sure we're all doing so much. I just want to say thank you. Above all, just thank you. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for being here. And I'm happy to be on this team because this is the team that is pro humanity and pro what is best. So I don't know, Kevin, if we should let Stuart mention that SDEC thing. I feel like that's important, but I'll leave that to your executive decision kind of thing.
Oh yeah, Stuart, if there's anything, if you would like to share regarding the SDEC, like the convention, voting, etc.
Well, I don't know it's a mess, right? So they the party really, the Democratic Party, the state party, announced the vacancies just last week and expected everyone to do self-nominations on a 1-week time frame. And so the voting for it was Monday through today. Yeah, really insane for the SDEC committees for the vacancies, just for the vacancies. So it wasn't every SDEC. And so there's a whole bunch of candidates that didn't get to file that wanted to, and a whole bunch of people who are upset with the party right now about that. But in terms of the SDEC elections going forward, there is going to be the normal SDEC elections for chairs, for precinct chairs and party officials, electeds and other delegates at the statewide convention come June in Dallas. And that voting will take place beforehand too, and then will be appointed, and then the vote total will be tallied at the actual convention for the party officials. And so just keep, if you're not a precinct chair, you won't be able to vote. So, but if you are, or if you want to become one, now's the time, right? Really sign up, and because those are the people who develop the platform, the rules, all the inner workings of the party. They meet once a quarter with the party chair, with the Democratic Party chair in Austin. It's like once a quarter for 3 days, and they discuss all the inner workings of the party, like how it's going to be, how fundraising is going to go, how block walking is going to be planned, all the really, like, the sausage of the party. And so, a terrible metaphor, but so it is really important. Unfortunately, I'm not sure which vacancies are going to be filled by who right now, because the voting, like I said, just ended for the ones that are vacant, including the one that I'm currently sitting in, SC12. But it is really, really important for the party, especially as it was said earlier, if we're not going to combat the party, we have to take over the party, which is definitely our plan. Thank you, Annie, for saying that. But yeah, so it is really important. If you are a precinct chair, you have to really pay attention to your emails, because that's how we were notified. Just a random email from the party chair. And so really pay close attention to your emails, because that's the only way you're going to be able to participate in that. And definitely register in advance for the county SD conventions, which are, I think, Kevin, you said the date, I forgot. And then register in advance for the June convention in Dallas. Anyway, they're just doing shady stuff as they always do. So that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, the county ones, it's Saturday, March 19th. So it's not that far away. For anyone interested in attending their county one, and you have to attend your county one if you want to go to the state in July. And so if you're interested in going to the July convention, you have to attend this one in March and 19th in your local county /SD, where your SD convention /county will be held. And so important announcement, even though sadly it's so soon, but share it to any friends, that you think might be wanting to join. More people helps us get more votes and continue the movement locally. And so any questions or concerns anyone has before we adjourn?
Is there a scheduled Our Revolution meeting from between now and March 19? Just wondering if there's something scheduled.
Not at the moment, no.
I guess we can communicate on Slack if we need to.
Yes. That, especially about this. Yes, thank you. Okay.
Cool.
We do have the meeting that's this Sunday though, right, Kevin?
Mhm.
It's like a kind of debrief from everything and kind of following up on some of the bigger stuff. I think it's in person, but we'll also have a virtual option, right, Kevin, that we'll send out to folks. Yeah, but one that's like public facing, I don't think so.
One other quick thing, there was a question in the chat about precinct chairs in Dallas County. If you were not on the ballot, you can right quick get an application from the party to be elected at the CDC county elect CEC meeting, the next one, and because they can appoint there. And if you know people who are either activists and want more precinct activity, or somebody who doesn't live in a precinct, we're encouraging people to foster, adopt precincts that they don't actually live in, but need somebody to work. There will be some priority precincts, and there will also be some, just empty precincts. And so that's a place for us as OR people, as progressives, to really plug in quickly and efficiently. Is all we have to do is notify our members and get them to sign up as a foster if their precinct already has a precinct chair. Okay, that's all for me.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. And I'm going to share your information one more time, Leanne, in the chat. So if y'all are interested or have any questions, contact Leanne regarding this and anything else we were talking about in the meeting. I wanted to mention, I see Oliver, shout out from Ohio, but also Christy gave the link in the chat. All of you saw regarding Ohio. See, we're everywhere. We're organizing not just in North Texas, not just in Texas, but across the nation. And that's what's going to take to make change overall. And so, well, outside of that, thank you all so much for joining today. If you want to learn more about all of our events, etc., everything, join our, go to our website. You can learn our volunteer link, next meeting, and so much more ways to volunteer to join our Slack. And yeah, thank you all so much for coming today. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, everyone.